Hi there, everybody. This is just your PowerPoint for Chapter 3 in your textbook. Chapter 3 really deals with how to be an intelligent consumer when it comes to not only products, but general nutrition information that we might find out on the web and different resources of that nature. So, how are you going to know if what you read or what you hear about certain diets and nutrition is actually truth? Well, the thing is that the information that we see, whether we read it in a newspaper or an article, it doesn't have to be true or even close to being true. So, some of this information that we are looking at and reading can range from quality, where it's a high quality source and it's reputable and it's very beneficial information, but it also can be very harmful and does not prove to be safe or effective. And why is that? Well, it's because all of this is protected by the freedom of speech provision, which is in the United States Constitution. So, as far as the mailing system goes, it's not illegal unless false or misleading information about a product or a service is actually placed on a product label, in the insert of the product, or in the advertisement itself. So the US and the Canadian mail systems cannot be used to send or receive payments for fraudulent products. So why is this nutrition information, misinformation I should say, out there? Well, the major motivation behind all of it is actually profit. It is a profit motivated industry. We are living in a society who want quick and easy results, right? We want to lose weight. We want that number on the scale to go down tomorrow, but we don't want to have to work that hard to make it happen. So we're always looking for a quick, easy way to, whether it's lose weight or decrease the amount of wrinkles we have, slow the aging process. We are willing to buy and try pretty much anything, especially if it sounds like it's super, super easy and it's a quick fix. So how do we report any fraudulent products or fraudulent claims? If you come across a product and you find that it doesn't work or it has negative side effects associated with taking that particular product, you definitely want to report those claims to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, because they actually are the ones who have the authority to make those companies pull a product from the shelf or remove those ads that you see in different newspapers or magazines and things like that. So this would be the website that you would go to report any of those fraudulent claims. Also, looking at the research, who is conducting the research? So many of the physicians and the scientists that are conducting this research have a financial interest. So they are maybe holding a patent for the product, or they're getting paid by the industry to be a consultant for that particular company, or they have financial affiliations. So in some way, shape, or form, they're going to make some money off the sale of this particular product. So the research is often conducted by people or companies that have a stake in the results. So going back to profit, it's a profit motivated industry. So they don't necessarily care about the health and well-being of folks. They care about making money off the product. So this is in your textbook, and I love how this is set up. This is a way for you to identify some misinformation when it comes to nutrition. So ask yourself these questions. Number one, is something being sold? If you can say, yes, this is a product that's being sold over the counter or on the market, a red flag should go up right away. Number two, does the product or service offer a new remedy for problems that are not easily or simply solved? Like, for example, obesity, right? We know that weight loss doesn't happen overnight. It's a long process and it takes a lot of sweat, hard work, self-discipline, especially to make it happen. So if they make it sound like it's an easy remedy to something that's not easily fixed, a red flag should go up. Number three, do they use terms like miraculous, right? Or studies prove, immune boosting. Those are terms that, again, are kind of sketchy, so a red flag should go up with stuff like that. Number four, do they use testimonials? right? Those people saying, hey, I took this product and it worked for me. Or they have the before and after photos, or they have the expert endorsements. You know, Dr. So and so supports our product. Well, again, it's going back to, are they a paid consultant for that company? Are they making money from the sale of that product? So when you see any of those things, red flags should go up. Number 5, does the information sound too good to be true? If it does, then it probably is. So another red flag. And then lastly, do they offer a money back guarantee? So you'll see things like, if you don't see results within 30 days, we will offer your full money back, right? So things like that, offering that money back guarantee, that's telling you right up front that it's a good chance that this is not going to work. So these are all ways to identify that it's misinformation. Another motivation for this misinformation is not only profit, but personal beliefs and convictions. So there's a lot of alternative healthcare professionals out there today. They might claim the results happen from certain nutritional remedies when that condition goes away. So they have very strong beliefs in this alternative method. So until they're evaluated, these are untested remedies. Okay, we know that there's science that backs up a lot of this stuff, and a lot of this alternative method is not necessarily tested to be safe and effective. So until all of this testing has been done, we can't, believe that just because this healthcare that's an alternative health practitioner says it's effective, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for everybody. So there's a lot of different supplements that are sold over the counter today. I just want everybody to be aware that it is a buyer beware market. So just because something is sold over the counter doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be safe or effective. And just so you know, the FDA does not do any in-depth testing for over-the-counter supplements, anything sold over the counter. So unlike pharmaceutical drugs have to undergo in-depth testing before they can be marketed and sold. Whereas supplements, on the other hand, do not undergo any FDA testing. So that's why I'm saying it's a buyer beware market. So how do I identify nutrition truths? Well, scientific evidence. So we want to see a lot of studies that are going to provide information on that particular product and tell us if it's going to be safe and effective. Also, we can look at reliable sources of information. Things like your textbook, right? Our nutrition textbook is a reliable source of information. Registered dietitians who work in a hospital setting normally are great. Governmental publications like the National Institute of Health or the FDA are great sites to go to. Scientific organizations, National Academy of Sciences, or nonprofit organizations like the American Heart Association. Those are all perfect places to go and get reliable information. If you're going online, things that end in .gov, .edu, or .org are going to be the most reliable source when you're looking for nutrition information. So looking at the scientific evidence behind it. So we want to look at those products and determine, have they actually done a scientific study proving that this product indeed does work? So we want to see that scientific method being carried out. So what is the scientific method? It's a carefully planned process for answering a specific question. So what is that question? We want to determine what is that question that we need to arise. So for example, here we're saying, do vitamin X supplements increase hair loss? That's our question. So that is the plan, right? And then we need to develop a hypothesis. So a hypothesis is actually turning that question into a statement. And that statement can be either proved or disproved by the whole research process. So remember, going back to our vitamin X question, does it increase the rate of hair loss? So in turn, we said vitamin X supplements of 25,000 industrial units a day taken for a 3-month period increases hair loss in healthy adults. That's a clear statement, and we can either prove it to be true or not true by the whole research process. Then what normally we will do is an epidemiological study where we research to seek and identify conditions related to the particular events within a certain population. So with that, we're going to do a clinical trial. So this is a study in which one group of randomly assigned people, subjects, receive the active treatment. In this case, it's the vitamin X pill. And the other group receives an inactive treatment, which is a sugar pill. It basically doesn't do anything, and we call that a placebo. So in this clinical trial, it's going to require two groups. You have your experimental group and you have your control group. Okay, so we're going to look at those two different groups. Also, we want to make sure that we have a double-blind procedure. Double-blind means that neither the scientist nor the patients or the subjects in the study know if they're getting the drug, the vitamin X, or the sugar pill, the placebo. And we don't want that because a lot of times we have what's called the placebo effect, where we tend to see a change in a health or a perceived health that results from the expectation that a treatment will actually produce an effect on that person's health. So here is your vitamin X study. So what they did is they took 40 healthy adults. None of these individuals had any conditions present that produced hair loss or hair gain. They signed an informed consent prior to beginning the process. And then those 40 people had a baseline measurement. They measured their normal rate of hair loss before they began. Then they randomized those 40 people into two groups. One group received the placebo for 3 months, which is the sugar pill, and then the other group received the vitamin X pill, 25,000 IUs a day for the 3-month period. After the 3-month period was over, they measured again the difference in the rate of hair loss between the groups, and they tested it for statistical significance. So when we look at a research study, a clinical study, this is what it should look like. And a lot of the products on the market today do not offer up these kinds of studies, right? They have the testimonials, the expert endorsements, the before and after photos. So again, it's not reliable sources of information. So when we're making personal decisions about our nutrition, only scientific studies, which are based on facts and evidence, produce the information with which we can rely on. So be that intelligent consumer when it comes to buying products over the market or reading information. Just because it's printed in a publication doesn't necessarily mean it's the be-all, end-all, and it's factual. So be an intelligent consumer.